One of the many things that makes hip-hop music so unique compared to other genres is the concept of a posse cut. Hip-hop culture is built on the spirit of competition, and what could be more competitive than four rappers on the same song trying to take each other's heads off? So with that in mind, here's a chronological list of some of the best rap posse cuts in hip-hop history. When Marley Marl rounded up his Juice Crew rappers for the Symphony, it's hard to imagine he would have known how influential the record would turn out to be. This track is the definition of a posse cut, and still stands as one of the best, bar for bar. The best verse goes to either G-Rap or Kane. G-Rap sounds ferocious, hungry, and like he's got rhymes for days. But you have to go with Big Daddy Kane for this. High Tech said, "When I was younger, I remember buying the Juice Crew's The Symphony record, and I immediately fell in love with that song. I memorized every line, and must have played it so many times that the record sleeve ripped. I even remember sitting down at the piano and self-teaching myself that piano loop." The two best West Coast rappers at the time were Ice Cube and the DOC, who were both largely responsible for penning a majority of NWA's lyrics. On the grand final, Cube sets off the track and DOC closes it out. He makes just the act of spelling out his name funky fresh. Despite the heavy hitters on this track, Kool Moe Dee, Just Ice, Chuck D. Self-Destruction is a KRS-One song through and through. Everyone else is just along for the ride. The verse that set off a legendary career that would span from '91 to present day, 7 platinum albums, a handful of classics, and a catalog that can only be rivaled by JayZ. Nasty Nas stole the show. No question about it. Nas said, "I specifically meant for that verse to spark my whole existence in rap music. So I approached it that way, and I felt like, this is it. You only get one chance to make a first impression. So I went for it. I had the feeling in my head. So I wrote it right there on the spot. I think it was in Queen's recording studio power play. It was pretty quick." Another verse that was the start of a new career, this time from a group member to a solo act. The energy on Busta Rhymes was so infectious that over 20 years later, he had Nicki Minaj using it on her own song. Busta said, "It definitely was an immediate change. That record was the record that pioneered features. I've done features prior to that, but that record made me the #1 go-to guy for features after that for a long time. I was doing so well off features that when Leaders broke up shortly after the Scenario record, I wasn't even thinking about doing a solo record for the next 3 years. An absolutely legendary lineup. It doesn't get any closer to rap royalty than this song. But the thing is, posse cuts are Kool G Rap's forte. Having other rappers on the track with him just turns him into a murderous spitter. Very few have been able to out-rap G-Rap, save for Kane, and even those times have been close. It's funny putting a lyrical monster like Kool G Rap on a song and asking him not to curse. Even without using profanities, G-Rap makes it sound like he's about to burst through the speakers and punch you in your mouth. Pete Rock said, "It was Hev's idea to make that type of song. He used to make those type of fun songs. We used to always play around in the house and rap, but we had perfected our craft to a point where Hev was getting signed to major labels and putting records out. Hev came up with the concept, and it was his idea to get the people on it. He went out and got Kane, QTip, all the people that were basically hot and on top at that time. He thought it was a great idea to engage them on the beat. From the early to late 90s, there wasn't a rapper alive better than Redman. No one could combine lyrical ability with a funky flow and humor-laden wordplay like the Funk Doctor himself. Good luck trying to out-rap Redman on a song." Eric said, "We were in the studio one day, and we needed a crew record, so I threw the beat on, and we started yelling. The session just went that way. The beat made you amped. I was just so aggressive. I was thinking about the Bomb Squad when I made that record. We had it set up like a Temptations thing, with the 4 mics set up, just screaming. It was hard to EQ that record because you had the leakage from one microphone to the others like back in the day. But we did it that way, and it came out fine." The greatest West Coast posse cut on the greatest West Coast album ever, no doubt about it. Curupt, RBX and Lady of Rage all spit the hardest verses. but it's Snoop Dogg with his understated but menacing flow who steals the show. And the way he breaks out singing in the middle of his verse? QTip said, "That was my first record. It got me in the game. It's called Opportunity. Dr. Dre gave me the opportunity. We were all around there. It's like a healthy competition for all of us. Rage, Daz. Snoop was the one already. For us, we had to make it. Once they put you in front of that mic, that was your opportunity. You either make it or break it." This is raw, uncut Notorious B.I.G. fresh off the Bed-Stuy streets, eager to make a name of himself. The hunger from the late, great rapper on this track is palpable. This was before Puffy was able to mold him into the smooth bad boy operator we would all come to meet later on. If we're being honest, this is probably the greatest Posse cut of all time. 9 hungry and signed rappers from Shaolin just spitting non-stop flamers, ready to take the industry. Every Singe Wu member comes correct on this record, but at the end of the day, it's a toss-up between Deck Set It Off verse and JayZ and R dissing closer. "I'll go with JayZ," Masta Killa said. "I'd never heard anything like that. When JayZ brought Protect Your Neck to me, and I heard that for the first time, I said, man, I'm gonna go home and sit down and construct everything that I'd already admired about hip-hop and try to put it in a verse that I could bring to these brothers, so they could respect me." Does Nate Dogg's part count as a rap verse? Fuck it. Yes it does. The smoothest hook singer in rap history lends his voice to this legendary West Coast Posse cut and takes it to the next level. This is the Biggie after Puffy had put in a lot of work on him. Gone are the days of screaming on the mic and throwing out over-the-top threats. Now, it was a laid-back flow and dismissal verses with the wave of his hand. Rampage said, "We was all in the studio same time. Actually Biggie laid his verse first, and I was in the studio with me, Puff, Moby, Busta, and LL. We were all in the same studio, so the vibe in the studio was good. But I wasn't supposed to be on the record. I just came up there to support Bus, and then Puff was like, 'What? You ain't gonna be on it?' And I'm like, 'Man, give me a minute.' So I just went into my files real fast, heard the beat, went in there, and 2 weeks later, I was on the video. That's how that happened. Using his name to put on up-and-coming rappers like JayZ, Old Dirty, Big Daddy Kane was all about getting these freshmen to show and prove. JayZ with his quick-witted flow and wordplay steals the show here. It was just a taste of what was coming. Kane said, "Show and prove was really just getting that work in. Proving some Brooklyn cats worthwhile. Me, JayZ, Sauce Money, Old Dirty all got some work in. DJ Premier gave us a bangin' beat, and we just did it Posse cut style. We're all in the studio together. This is a super slept on, obscure cut off a Ron G mixtape, but goddamn does it bang. Over a banging beat and Wu-Tang chants, Raekwon, KRS, OC, Killa Sin, and Biggie all deliver on this track. But at the end of the day, how can you top Biggie's line? Featuring another great verse from the up-and-coming JayZ before Reasonable Doubt dropped, Dogg Graveyard is really a battle between Big L and Jay, which had already happened in real life in Harlem. It's a toss-up between the two rappers, who both dazzle with crazy flows and wordplay. But I'm going with L. Lord Finesse said, "Big L wanted to go first on these Posse songs. And man, you had to step your game up. And I think he was responsible for making Dig and step our game up. Because if we doing a song together, you better be ready, dog." I heard all Big L's rhymes before I recorded mine. I was arrogant though. I ain't give a fuck about going right after Big L. I was like, I'm just on it. You want me on it? I'm here. It's like I can't stop this dude from writing what he gonna write. He was phenomenal with the penmanship. Goddamn, every rapper on this track killed it. LL put a stamp on his near decade-long legacy, and dissed Kool Moe Dee, MC Hammer, and Ice-T in the process. Fat Joe proved that he belonged with the elite with an incredible verse. Keith Murray sets off the song with his scientific wordplay. Prodigy is peak Mobb Deep right here, and Foxy holds her own on a track with superstars. If pressed, I'll have to go with Prodigy here, who delivers a classic verse that would later be sampled on JayZ's D-Evils. Prodigy said, LL put a lot of the new hot rappers on that song at that time. Shit was a banger, man. LL was one of the reasons I started rapping. It was only right that I'd get on that and make that shit hot. When we recorded that shit, everybody did their shit separately, but that shit was ill. They used to play that shit in the club back in the day, in the tunnel, and all that. That was like the tunnel record. And the tunnel was like our clubhouse. Every weekend, we'd be in there like a family gathering. You could find us every Sunday in that motherfucker. That was our little hangout to promote Mobb Deep and let the people see us having fun. When we're talking about greatest rap posse cuts in history, damn near every second Wu-Tang cut would qualify. In my opinion, Inspectah Deck on Guillotine Swords is right up there with Triumph as his best verse. Raekwon said, "To me, that was a symphony track. Meth had a piece of that beat on his album that was used as a skit. Cause that's how RZA is. Sometimes he'd mix other shit in and give you a piece of something, but not really act like it's gonna be assigned to that. He'll see if somebody like it and use it for fillers or whatever." Had told RZA a while ago after he did that. Sometimes he'd mix other shit in and give you a piece of something, but not really act like it's gonna be assigned to that. He'll see if somebody like it and use it for fillers or whatever. I had told RZA a while ago after he did that, "Yo, I want that beat." It's rare for RZA to have the best verse on a Wu song. The lyrics are usually packed full of nonsensical scientific jargon as if he just finished reading a dictionary and wanted to squeeze in as many word of the days as possible. But on Fourth Chamber, RZA's verse is just incredible. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe for part 2 from 1996 to 2000 Posse cuts. Peace.